Franklin Delano Roosevelt, FDR, the 32nd President of the United States, stands as a towering figure in American history. His presidency, spanning from 1933 to 1945, was marked by unprecedented challenges and transformative reforms. He was the only president elected to 4 terms, a testament to the deep trust and admiration he inspired in the American people. His tenure was defined by 2 monumental crises, the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's New Deal initiatives, a comprehensive program of economic relief and reform, offered a lifeline to a nation crippled by economic devastation. Later, his decisive leadership during World War II guided the United States to victory against the Axis powers. Beyond specific policies and wartime strategies, Roosevelt's enduring legacy lies in his ability to connect with ordinary Americans, understand their struggles, and project an unwavering sense of hope and confidence in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. This combination of empathy, decisive action, and inspiring leadership cemented his place as one of the most beloved and influential presidents in American history. When Roosevelt took office in March 1933, the United States was in the throes of the Great Depression. The stock market crash of 1929 had triggered a catastrophic economic collapse, leaving millions unemployed, banks failing, and farms foreclosing. Despair gripped the nation as Americans faced hunger, homelessness, and a profound sense of hopelessness. The previous administration, under President Herbert Hoover, had largely adhered to a philosophy of limited government intervention, believing that the economy would eventually correct itself. This laissez-faire approach proved woefully inadequate to address the scale of the crisis. Roosevelt, in contrast, embraced a proactive approach, promising a new deal for the American people. He understood that the crisis demanded bold and innovative solutions, and he was willing to experiment with government intervention to stimulate the economy, alleviate suffering, and restore confidence. The New Deal was not a single, coherent ideology, but rather a series of programs and policies designed to address specific problems across various sectors of the economy. One of Roosevelt's first actions was to address the banking crisis. He declared a bank holiday, temporarily closing all banks to prevent further runs and allow the government to stabilize the financial system. The Emergency Banking Act, passed swiftly by Congress, provided for the reorganization and reopening of sound banks, while the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, was established to insure bank deposits, restoring public confidence in the banking system. The New Deal also included a wide range of programs aimed at providing relief to the unemployed. The Civilian Conservation Corps, CCC, provided jobs for young men in conservation projects, such as planting trees, building trails, and fighting forest fires. The Public Works Administration, PWA, funded large-scale infrastructure projects, such as dams, bridges, and schools, creating jobs and stimulating economic activity. The Works Progress Administration, WPA, employed millions of Americans in a variety of public works projects, including construction, arts, and research. Furthermore, the New Deal sought to address the problems facing farmers. The Agricultural Adjustment Act, AAA, aimed to raise farm prices by reducing agricultural production. Farmers were paid subsidies to take land out of production, which helped to reduce surpluses and increase demand. The Tennessee Valley Authority, TVA, was established to develop the Tennessee River Valley, a region plagued by poverty and underdevelopment. The TVA built dams, generated electricity, and promoted economic development in the region. Perhaps the most significant and enduring legacy of the New Deal was the Social Security Act of 1935. This landmark legislation established a system of old age insurance, unemployment compensation, and aid to families with dependent children. Social Security provided a safety net for vulnerable Americans, ensuring that they would have some form of income security in their old age and during periods of unemployment. The New Deal was not without its critics. Conservatives argued that it was an unwarranted expansion of government power and that it stifled individual initiative and free enterprise. Some liberals argued that it did not go far enough in addressing the root causes of economic inequality. However, despite these criticisms, the New Deal undeniably provided a lifeline to millions of Americans during the Great Depression. It helped to alleviate suffering, restore confidence, and lay the foundation for a more stable and equitable economy. It also significantly altered the relationship between the government and the people, establishing a precedent for government intervention in the economy and the provision of social welfare programs. Even as the New Deal was underway, the shadow of war was looming over Europe and Asia. Roosevelt initially adopted a policy of neutrality, reflecting the strong isolationist sentiment in the United States following World War I. However, as the aggressive expansion of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan became increasingly apparent, Roosevelt began to gradually shift his policy towards supporting the Allied powers. He implemented the cash and carry policy, which allowed belligerent nations to purchase American goods as long as they paid in cash and transported them in their own ships. He also enacted the Lend-Lease Act, which authorized the government to lend or lease military equipment and supplies to any nation whose defense was deemed vital to the security of the United States. These measures provided crucial support to Great Britain and other Allied nations as they struggled to resist the Axis powers. The attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, shattered the illusion of American neutrality and propelled the United States into World War II. Roosevelt, in his famous Day of Infamy speech, declared war on Japan. Soon after, Germany and Italy declared war on the United States, and the country was fully committed to the Allied cause. Roosevelt's leadership during World War II was crucial to the Allied victory. He forged a strong alliance with Great Britain and the Soviet Union, overcoming ideological differences to unite against a common enemy. He mobilized the American economy for war production, transforming the country into the arsenal of democracy. He also oversaw the development of the atomic bomb, a weapon that ultimately brought the war to a swift end. Roosevelt understood the importance of maintaining public morale and support for the war effort. He used his powerful oratory skills to rally the American people, reminding them of the values and principles they were fighting for. He also worked to ensure that the war was fought on ethical grounds, condemning the atrocities committed by the Axis powers and advocating for the humane treatment of prisoners of war. However, Roosevelt's wartime leadership was not without its controversies. His decision to intern Japanese Americans in concentration camps, based on unsubstantiated fears of espionage and sabotage, remains a stain on his legacy. This policy violated the civil liberties of thousands of innocent people and stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of prejudice and discrimination. Despite this significant blemish, Roosevelt's leadership during World War II was undeniably instrumental in the Allied victory. He guided the United States through a period of unprecedented crisis, leading the nation to triumph over fascism and securing its position as a global superpower. Beyond his specific policies and wartime strategies, Roosevelt's enduring popularity stems from his ability to connect with ordinary Americans on a personal level. He understood their struggles, empathized with their hardships, and projected an unwavering sense of hope and confidence in the future. His famous fireside chats, radio addresses delivered directly to the American people, created a sense of intimacy and connection, allowing him to explain his policies in clear and accessible language. Roosevelt's physical disability, a result of polio, also contributed to his appeal. While he carefully concealed the extent of his disability from the public, his struggle with polio made him more relatable to those who faced their own personal challenges. He embodied resilience and determination, demonstrating that physical limitations did not have to be a barrier to achievement. Roosevelt's leadership style was characterized by pragmatism and a willingness to experiment. He was not afraid to try new things, even if they were unconventional or controversial. He surrounded himself with talented advisors and was open to different perspectives. He also possessed a remarkable ability to compromise and build consensus, essential skills for navigating the complex political landscape of the time. Roosevelt's presidency fundamentally transformed the role of the federal government in American life. He expanded the scope of government intervention in the economy, created a social safety net for vulnerable Americans, and established the United States as a global leader. His legacy continues to shape American politics and society today. His commitment to social justice, economic security, and international cooperation remains an inspiration to those who seek to build a better world. While criticisms of his policies and actions exist, particularly regarding the internment of Japanese Americans, the overwhelming sentiment remains that Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a transformative and ultimately beloved figure who guided the United States through some of its darkest hours and laid the foundation for a more prosperous and just future. His 4 terms in office stand as a testament to his enduring popularity and the profound impact he had on the American people. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and support the channel. It really means a lot.